Israel is not the church, navigating the divine distinction. The modern confusion. Do not cause anyone to stumble, whether Jews, Greeks or the Church of God. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 32. There are a number of different and often astonishing notions spreading today regarding what actually constitutes the Christian church. In an age where information is abundant but discernment is rare, we must ask, what does the Bible actually say? If we look at Paul's instruction in 1 Corinthians 10 verse 32, we see a clear three-way distinction that God makes. The Jews, God's covenant people through Abraham. The Greeks, Gentiles, the nations of the world who do not know God. The Church of God, a new entity made of both Jews and Gentiles who have been born again. If these three are listed separately, it means they are not the same. Yet, many today are attempting to merge them. Our teaching today makes it crystal clear, the Church and Israel are two different entities. Part 1, the misunderstood Ekklesia. Many people believe that the nation of Israel is the Church. They often point to Acts 7 verse 38, where Stephen, the first Christian martyr, describes the ancient Jewish people at Mount Sinai as the church in the wilderness. To the casual reader, this seems like a solid argument. But to the student of the word, we must look at the original language. The word Stephen used was ekklesia. While this is the same word often translated as church in the New Testament, its meaning depends entirely on the context. The literal meaning, ekklesia, simply means an assembly or a called-out group. Stephen's context, Stephen was referring to a physical assembly of the nation of Israel gathered at Sinai. Paul's context, when the Apostle Paul uses ekklesia, he is denoting the body of Christ, a spiritual organism that did not exist until the day of Pentecost. Stephen did not intend to convey the same sense of the church that Paul describes. Israel was an assembly of a physical nation, the church is an assembly of a spiritual people. No, the church and Judaism are not to be equated. Part 2, the mother and the child. There is a beautiful illustration that helps us understand this relationship. The church was in the blossom of Judaism, like the unborn child in its mother's womb. Consider that imagery. While a child is in the womb, they share the same space and are connected. But would any mother say that she and the child are the same person? Of course not. They are two distinct lives. It is a mistake to regard the two as one. Israel provided the womb, the scriptures, the covenants, and the Messiah himself came through Israel. The church is the new life, born out of the side of Christ. The church is a new man, Ephesians 2 verse 15, not a refurbished version of the old nation. Part 3, the danger of Christendom. We must also understand that the church is not the whole of Christendom. To understand this, we have to look back to AD 313. Before this time, being a Christian meant you were likely persecuted. But when the Emperor Constantine proclaimed Christianity the favored religion of the Roman Empire, everything changed. Suddenly, it was politically advantageous to be Christian. This created the realm known as Christendom, the domain of the christened. The definition of Christendom, a cultural or political territory where Christian symbols and traditions are present. The definition of the church, a spiritual body of believers who have a personal relationship with Jesus. Whatever we might think about the act of christening, no enlightened person would say it automatically makes one fit to enter heaven. You can be born in a garage, but that doesn't make you a car. Similarly, being born into Christendom does not make you a member of the Church of God. Part 4, the vaccination of religion. There is a famous story of an old Cambridge professor who reflected on his religious upbringing. He said, "When I was a child I was both christened and vaccinated, but I am afraid that neither of them took." This reflects the unhappy state of multitudes today. They have been christened, given a religious label, but not Christined, filled with the life of Christ. They were baptized as infants, a tradition of men, but they have not been born again as adults, the requirement of God. Religious ritual is like a vaccination. Sometimes people get just enough of it to prevent them from catching the real thing. They have enough religion to feel safe, but not enough of Jesus to be saved. Conclusion: are you in the body? As we seek to get closer to Jehovah Jireh, we must build our lives on the truth. Israel is God's earthly people with earthly promises. The church is God's heavenly people with heavenly promises. Christendom is a cultural imitation that lacks power. The question for you today isn't, are you part of a church denomination? Or were you christened as a child? The question is, have you been born again? Have you moved from the realm of the christened into the body of Christ? Don't let tradition cause you to stumble. Ensure that your faith is not in a ritual, but in the resurrected King.